Chapter 11, number 35. A wooden block of mass, capital M, resting on a frictionless horizontal surface, is attached to a rigid rod of length L and of negligible mass. The rod is pivoted at the other end. A bullet of mass lowercase m, traveling parallel to the horizontal surface and perpendicular to the rod, with speed v, hits the block and becomes embedded into it. A. What is the angular momentum of the bullet block system? B. What fraction of the original kinetic energy is lost in the collision? Here's figure 11.35 from the problem. As you can see, the bullet, mass lowercase m, is hitting the block, mass capital M, which will be rotating on the rod L. First, write down your givens. Mass, capital M, which is the mass of the block, length, cursive L, which is the length of the rigid rod, mass lowercase m, which is the mass of the bullet, and velocity v. Also write down what you need to find, which is the angular momentum and the kinetic energy lost. Angular momentum, capital L, is given by the equation mass times velocity times length. The conservation of angular momentum tells us that the final angular momentum will be equal to the initial angular momentum. Therefore, L final is equal to the total mass of the bullet block system, lower m plus capital M, times the final velocity of the bullet block system times length. That was the answer for part A. Part B, it requires us to know that the final velocity equals lowercase m over the total mass of the system times the original velocity of the bullet. This can be found by comparing the original momentum, mvl, and then the final angular momentum, m plus m, v final, l. Now we can move on to the second part of the equation. The initial kinetic energy, this includes the bullet, equals 1/2 mv squared. The final kinetic energy includes the total mass of the block bullet system. This is equal to 1/2 capital M plus lowercase m times v squared final. To re-emphasize, v final equals the velocity of the bullet and block system. To find the fraction lost, all you do is take the original kinetic energy, subtract the final kinetic energy, and put it over the original kinetic energy. This will give you percent or fraction. So now all you must do is plug in the original kinetic energy and the final kinetic energy over the original kinetic energy. Make sure you replace v final with its equation. When you distribute, combine your fractions, and simplify using the skills you learned in math, you should come out to capital M over capital M plus M.